Hello, hello, welcome. This is going to be part 2 of my color along out of the Sweet Dogs coloring book here. This is by The Dog Designs, Tanya Wilhelm. There is her contact information if you are interested. Again, I will link everything down below as well as these two books if you are interested. So here is the page I picked to do. Printed mine out so we could work on it a little easier here. It is a freebie in my Facebook group and as well on her Facebook page, The Dog Designs, if you are interested in joining in, following along, anything of the sort. So I'm going to kind of bounce around because I feel like the rest of this page is pretty much up to however you want to do it. So I'll quickly show you my plan and a cool thing I want to do with the grass and the dog here, and we will finish up. So first things first, I took a dark brown and I just went in and I filled in certain parts of the tree here to make it look kind of like knots in the tree. So I didn't go over every single line. I'm going to bring in another brown to do that. So you want kind of like a light, medium, dark that go together well. And I kind of went out of the line, so improvising. These super tiny ones here. And you don't have to do them all. You can make them bigger, smaller, whatever you want. So then I'm going to take my next brown. One second. Okay, so I'm mixing and matching my markers here a little bit. I'm using an Artify, which I love, a Teo tree, and another Teo tree. So these are my three colors. This one looks really orange, but it is not. So this is just... So I'm going to take this big Artify marker now. And I am using my fat end because I'm not necessarily worrying about the lines of the tree, because I might go back in and put the dark on those. We'll see how I like it. I'm just kind of filling in some areas, and I'm not going to do this whole tree because it would take me quite a while. But I'll show you the effect I'm going for on my tree. So let me put in a little more of this dark brown here. I'll just work on this bottom trunk part, and then I can do the rest off. I'm going to make that one a little bigger, and this one too. That's where I said you can improvise, like if you want to go over all the lines, which I might. So I'm just kind of winging it. Notice I am leaving some of that white though for my highlight color. So just like pencils, I have a light, medium, and dark. And I want to use all of those, even in markers. So then I'm going to come over with this next shade of brown. And again, I'm leaving some white in some spots. Make sure I'm on camera here. Let's pull in a little. Okay, sorry about the wiggling. I forgot I was so far out. So again, anywhere I got that dark brown, I'm just putting a touch of this. This is our blender color so that we don't jump from that dark brown to our highlight color, basically. So it doesn't have to be pretty. Our blender color is going to blend it all together anyway. So then we're going to take that lightest Teo tree. Mine is a 31. I'm going to start from about here. I'm going to circular motions, just like if I were using pencils. Blend all of that together. And if you want to come in and add some more of your dark, you can. I don't like to put this color down first because I like to blend it all when I go over it at once. Then I can kind of see like that line stands out a little bit more than I want it to, where I want to kind of fix things up at. So that will be my tree. My blue is going to be just 2 shades of blue. And I am just going to, I am not going to put the sun in again because I feel like I have so much going on here towards the bottom. I don't want to add a reflection and draw away from the grass and the dog I'm going to put in here. So this is not a good blue. Let me swap real quick here. About Sharpies, as I have a whole bunch of them. This one's a little bit lighter. The only thing that drives me crazy with Sharpies is like there is barely, like all three of these blues are different, but there is like barely a difference in the cap. So I can't really tell until I put it on the paper. Okay, we're gonna run with this one. So I'm just gonna go every other line with this light blue. And you can do yours however, but this is just how I'm kind of incorporating my blue border in here. So I'll go about that far because I do want to show the other things as well. And then a darker blue. This is one of my favorite blues out of the Bic set. This is a Bic Intensity. So they do have a Bic Intensity and a Bic Marking set. To me, they are the same. I haven't noticed any new colors except for in the marking set. I think I got some more metallics. But I think the Intensity is now marking. I'm not sure. I haven't bought them in a long time. But I do have both. I feel like they're the same set, just changed name and a couple more metallics. They do have a new pretty, this color, but this is Intensity too, so I'm not sure how they're working that. I am not an expert. I do like their markers, but I usually only buy them around Black Friday when they're on sale because otherwise I can't see paying. They used to be cheap, not so much anymore. If you are torn between Bic and Sharpie, Bics have a little less odor. Sharpies have more colors. Of course, now there's Amazon and endless amounts of alcohol marker sets, so that's not really. But when I was first starting, that was like the two I started with, Sharpies and Bics. I was covered. I had fat ones and thin ones. Every color I thought I needed until I found out they made like 101 sets. So I'm going to leave my water there. If I come back at the end and I think that I don't like it, I will go over the black lines with a white gel pen, kind of make it look like waves. And just kind of amp that up a little bit. So quickly I'll show you what it looks like when we add a white line. And it's going to be a little choppy right here because I have pencil wax on it. Sorry about the kitties hissing in the background. They're sisters, so sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. They're actually adopted sisters, but they've been together 6 years, so. And they still don't. They still fight like children. And then also I will go around this sun and get rid of this black line as well. So again, if you are joining in on this as a new subscriber or just visiting here, I use, and of course this one is brushed off, they're called brush something gel pens, because I thought they were Arteza when I bought them because I typed in Arteza and didn't pay attention and bought them, and then they are perfect pens, like they go over pencil and everything, so I didn't even think to double check until a while down the road, I got to looking at it and I was like, that is not an Arteza pen. But these are great pens. They are the 0.08 millimeters, so they're a little bit thicker, but they don't clog, and usually they are not skipping. This one is fighting me a little bit, but I think it's because I let my daughter borrow it. She presses really hard. But I will go around the sun, and then I will get, it works really well with marker, of course. The wave lines, and then that will look like water, and we will be winning there. So quickly for the tree leaves, before I do the dog and the grass here, I am just going to go, because I don't want to draw a whole lot to the leaves, because there is a lot of leaves. So I don't want to draw a whole lot of attention to them and take away from my dog down here. So I'm going to go just a dark green right down the middle. Wherever you want shadows, so if you want to outline your leaves a little bit, you can do that. And then I'm going to take this same green. Oh, that leaf looks wild. That I use down here on the grass, which is a Teo tree 46, just a nice bright green. And it's a little harder to do circular motions on these littler sections, but I'm going to try to blend out that dark green just a little. Okay, so I should have started from the bottom with my water, but that's okay. So down here for the water, I put this green down, so this is just a base layer of this green, and then I'm going to take a few different greens in my Prismacolors. I'm going to get a sharp tip on them. I'm going to find a grass green real quick. And she has lines put in for us, which is nice already. But if you're looking for a more realistic grass look, we're going to kind of flick. Now, if you want to just color in the grass at the bottom here, like color them in like this, you can do that too. But when I get up here to the water, I'm gonna kind of flick it so that it will look like my grass is standing up over that water. So again, she has the grass built in for us pretty good, so this isn't necessary. But it is fun. I like the realistic feel of the grass, the 3D look, I should say, not necessarily realistic, but the layered feel of the grass. And the black lines won't be so noticeable once we get all these other colors in. So same thing with my dog. I'm going to put a little up over his feet. My tree here. And this is my darkest green, so mine is a Prussian green. Does not matter what your green is, as long as, again, you have kind of a dark and a medium. We're going to flick one way, and then we're going to flick the other way. The sharper, the better. Longer strokes, taller grass. Shorter strokes, shorter grass. So I am going to put a little bit of grass everywhere, long and short. Okay, and then we're going to take our next green, which for me is grass green. I just grabbed the same pencil twice. Okay, same thing. And I might even bring in one darker if I decide. But you want to make sure you have all the colors you want in before you do your lightest color. Because that lightest color will kind of blend them all together. So again, just flicking upwards. The more flicks and the more layers, the more thicker your grass will look. Okay, I'm going to add, let's see, this is olive. This might be, this will work. Just a little bit of a darker green here. Not as dark as the Prussian, but enough we can get a little more color in here. And I put my washi tape on first, so it's a little tricky to flick around the washi tape. Usually I do that last, but I wanted to show why I chose the blue washi tape and how it would kind of pull the water, give the water something to work with, because there's no other blue in my picture. And then apple green. Like I said, this one kind of blends them together, so I'm just kind of going circular motions at the bottom, anywhere that looks a little rough. So now my dog is sitting on some grass. Next, I'm going to take a brown and I'm going to go with chocolate and goldenrod and a yellow ochre and a cream. So whatever color you want your dog to be. I'm going with this golden color with a little bit of brown, tree and sunset. Hopefully he'll stand out enough. I'm going for like a blonde dog look, basically. I lost my other, let me sharpen this real quick. I was going to use the one that was already sharpened, but I lost it. Oh. Here she comes to help. No. No. She loves the sound of the pencil sharpener, so then she has to get up here and sniff it and smack it in. Okay, so chocolate, coming in chocolate first, and now we're doing the dog. So I'm going to come around his feet, in between his toes. Doesn't have to be perfect. Anywhere she's kind of put in a shadow. Now I do want to keep that rough fur look, so kind of like the grass, I'm going to flick in the direction she's drawn the lines. So again, that patch will probably be lighter. I'm going to work around the ear here. So his little blonde chin will show where she just making sure I got all my darks built in how I want. Okay, I don't want too dark around the eyes. I don't want my pup to look like he got punched in the eye. Okay, you can also base layer with your cream if you want that lighter tone down first. I don't base layer because I like the dark, rich, vibrant color, and base layering tones that down quite a bit. This pencil is kind of hard to flick with because it's so little. Kind of just going to build in a little bit of fur, and it's going to look weird for a minute. So I get everything situated here. Put in not a whole lot of brown because I don't want a brown dog. Just a couple spots where I feel like it needs to be a little darker. Okay, then we're going to come in with that yellow ochre. And this is where I'm going to build everywhere but the highlights. So I'm going to go around his eyes. I'm going to leave the top of his nose just like if he were a human. His little fur patch, I'm going to leave the middle. Now this is not really a realistic fur technique. You do use the flicking on the realistic fur. This is more of just a quick making it look like there's fur there, emphasizing that there's fur without actually doing the fur layers. Cream. So now that I have that in and this in here, I'm assuming this is part of the dog, right? Yeah, because the bench doesn't go through, so I might have to fix that green on his foot a little. Usually I put the grass in last, but I wanted to do the dog last in case I ran out of time. Okay, so now we have a good first layer down on our dog. We can kind of see what's going on, what we like, what we don't like. So then I kind of repeat my process. I'm going to darken right here a little. And I'm going to add a couple first strokes. Same with his leg. Even on his face. Again, the more time you take and the more little strokes you put in, the more fur that will appear. Just kind of building in a little more gold on him here. And the more of this goldenrod and the brown you put in, the less blonde of a dog and the more golden retriever look you will have. So just be aware what color you're going for and what your layers, how your layers will change that as you keep adding if you're going for a certain look. You can always change your colors up. You can use jasmine instead of yellow ochre and goldenrod. Okay, again with the yellow ochre. Okay, and then with that cream for our highlights, I'm going to highlight the top of his head. I feel like this spot's a little dark, so I'm just kind of using my cream to bring it down a little. And then I'm going to work on his toes. I kind of left his toes for last. There's a fine line between standing in and losing toes here. I will come back and fix the grass. I'm just going to go over it for now. so I can blend right here. Okay, I'm going to take a black fine liner. I use not a Papermate. I have a little stack of them over here. I use Arteza Inconic 0.4, so they are the itty bitty tiny tips. You can buy these in the like big set of 72, and I think they even have a bigger one now with all the colors, or you can buy just black, which is nice. Because I do go through the black more than the rest of the colors. I'm going to leave that shiny spot on his nose if I don't mess it up. Around the eyes, and again I will come in and do the white gel pen, so I'm going to try to leave the white dot, but even if I don't, I'm going to white gel pen it anyway. But this just really helps bring out his little features here. And I'm also going to do his little pup nails. So that way if I got any grass on them, it does not look like he has painted toenails or anything. And I can see a couple spots I need to buff out a little. Alright, so there is my dog, my water. I think I touched on everything a little bit. The bench. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and use the same brown from my tree and turn this a little. It is definitely time to clear off my desk. I got to get going on some projects. It's like halfway through the month and I don't even think I have one project done. I am slacking. I started therapy 3 times a week to try to get back to walking before summer. Graduations and sports started, so that was like my evenings are gone. But that's alright. We're going to make it work. Okay, just making my own wood design. Not really drawing anything special in. Okay, and then I'm going to take this light umber. All right, and there's my little bench. All right, so here is where we are. We are done. We went over the tree and the leaves, the water, the grass, the dog. If you missed part 1, there is a part 1 to this, I suppose I should say. We did the sun in the background just in part 1. If you want to see the completed, it will be on my Instagram or in the Facebook group. And I will tag her as well if you want to share yours. I was just trying to get a little more green in so you could see how the green was going to go with the grass. But yes, there is our page. Questions, comments, anything like that, please let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope you join in, and I hope to see you next time.